Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Larry the Batman fan. I'm back with another video. Today we are going to be continuing the series about games that will not upset your parents, games that are fun to play still, that do not suck and are actually worthwhile titles to play, but aren't mature rated. So I have some games here. I kind of stopped collecting for the Nintendo Switch for quite a while because I started focusing on other systems to collect for. And right now, I'm not really in the best financial position to keep buying games. So I only have about 15 games on the Switch. So I actually had to look up some other titles that were worthwhile because I want this video to be a decent length for you guys. So I could think of two extra titles for this video, so the video would be a decent length. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. These are some Switch games I have that I could tell you some things about. We have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I bought this for full price. It was 50 bucks. I bought this sometime last year off of eBay. I never showed this in my Nintendo Switch collection because at the time I didn't have it. I only put in a few hours into this game, and what I played of it, it was pretty good. But it was massive, though. I mean, there's the worlds in this game are just too fucking big to walk in. I mean, they literally are super huge. But you play as this guy. It continues the story of the first game, which I do have. I haven't gotten around to play the first game because of a full time job, but I got the Wii version of it. I know they later ported the original Xenoblade Chronicles to the Nintendo Wii U, and the Nintendo Switch also got a remaster of this game. And it was also on the Nintendo 3DS, but it was only able to be played on a certain model of the Nintendo 3DS. So Xenoblade Chronicles 2 picks up after the first game. I know there's also Xenoblade Chronicles 3 by this point, but I don't own it and never played it, and it's probably very expensive to buy. It is a JRPG, and you go through the levels, you battle enemies in a massive world. The graphics are pretty beautiful. The environments are very colorful. Lots of beautiful things. The scenery and the animals in the game look realistic. The grass looks real. The environments look really colorful and detailed. All in all, it's a great RPG game for the Nintendo Switch that I highly recommend you guys check out. It's a lot of fun. The hack and slash and sword combat of the game also sounds realistic. You can actually hear the sound of swords clapping against each other. And since it's like a kind of a turn-based, I want to say. It's not really action RPG. It's not like Untold Legends or uh, what's another example? Dragon Age. I consider Dragon Age more action RPG. This one's more turn-based, so but it's a very good game, and I highly recommend it if you have a Nintendo Switch. Next up is Super Mario Galaxy. Great game, a must-own game if you have a Nintendo Switch. This and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, both excellent for your Nintendo Switch to own. It's a really great game. It's very long. I've never beaten this game. I've played it a bit, but never beat it. I remember the levels of the dinosaur. Oh, the dinosaur kind of wants to kill you, but at the same time, the dinosaurs in the game could be your friend. You got these enemies that you gotta throw fireballs at, these platforms to jump on. You know, it's a good game, and you can even jump on the buildings. You know, kind of bounce off the buildings on the game. And Mario's hat can also do things too, like make them fly, or like what you see right here. You know, kind of teleport them to certain areas, which is crazy that his hat is able to do that. It's a really good platformer game for the Nintendo Switch, and a must buy if you have a Nintendo Switch. It is the best game on the Nintendo Switch. Some people would say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Next up we have Paper Mario, the Origami King. Well, I may not like this as much as the older Paper Mario games, like Paper Mario 64 and The Thousand Year Door. This is still a decent game. It's still fun for a RPG and the Paper Mario World or Mario World in general. Mario and your friend in this game explore the areas and environments, going through the levels. You end up fighting these monsters and stuff until you get to Bowser again and the Origami King, which is the main villain. But I think Bowser appears a few times in this game as well. So there's really Bowser and the Origami King. I believe they're working together in this game. You know, I haven't played it a whole lot. Like I said, I kind of put my Switch down to the side because I had other games I was playing, and I like the older games a bit more because of the nostalgia, and they're better games overall. You know, they put more time and effort into the games with no microtransactions or shit like that, which is a pain in the ass to deal with, really. I mean, nobody likes microtransactions in games. So Paper Mario the Origami King is a pretty good game. I recommend it if you have a Nintendo Switch or you're just into RPGs. Next up is a game that I'm going to mention because I don't have it, but I think it's worthwhile. It's Luigi's Mansion, the remastered version of it, and also Luigi's Mansion 3. I don't know if Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon was on the Nintendo Switch. They might have ported it to the Nintendo Switch, but originally it was a 3DS title only. So really, I think the only way to play it is on the 3DS unless they ported it to the Nintendo Switch. Some consider it a survival horror game. I don't consider it a survival horror game. What it is a platformer with some Ghostbuster-like things that you can do because you play as Luigi in the game, and you go around with like a proton pack on your back and sucking up ghosts and killing monsters in the game. You also collect coins and you get to jump on enemies' heads and things like that in the game. And you also explore the levels of the castles in the game. It's a really good series, and I highly recommend all three of them if you're a fan of Luigi or Mario games in general. Next up is a underrated game, Risk of Rain 2. There's also Risk of Rain 1, if you can see that. It is featured on here. Although I played more of Risk of Rain 2. But when I downloaded this game, it gave me the first game as well. Because honestly, at first, when I bought this game, like a year and a half ago at Empire Video Games, when I bought my Switch, um, I honestly thought I was going to have to buy the first game. But they actually were nice enough to include the first game with this game. It's awesome that both games are on the cartridge. This game is a shooting game, actually, which is interesting because there aren't that many shooting games on the Switch. I mean, we haven't even gotten a Call of Duty game on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why the hell Nintendo never ported Call of Duty Vanguard or Call of Duty Cold War, Black Ops Cold War, that game. They probably should have ported that. I mean, a lot of fans that only have a Nintendo Switch as a console don't have no PS4 or Xbox One or even a PS5 or Xbox Series X. They're left in the dust. They can't even play a Call of Duty game on the Switch. So I'm surprised Nintendo has sort of just, you know, said screw Call of Duty and not put Call of Duty on there. So if you're looking for a shooting game that's not mature rated, I mean, there's Strife, which is mature, and Doom Eternal, and Wolfenstein 2, and those are all M rated. But if you're looking for something that's not M rated, this is a perfect example of it. You play as like an astronaut dude in the game, and from what I play, there's all these monsters that you got to kill in the game. You eventually can upgrade your shields and everything. You start fighting some sort of boss. Once you start, you get to fly in the game too, and there's some sort of boss that you gotta fight. After you defeat that boss, you gotta fight another boss or something later on, and then after that, you move on. Um, but it's really cool, you know. And for a T for teen game, you can't go wrong. I mean, it's rated T for blood, drug reference, and fantasy violence. If you can see that, I think it says fantasy violence. Yep, fantasy violence. So it is more appropriate than some of the other shooting games on the Switch. The Outer Worlds is another game that's kind of a shooting game. I mean, it's an RPG as well, but it's not family friendly. Next up, we have MX versus ATV All Out. This is a fun racing game. I think this is underrated a bit. There has been some other MX games in the past for PS2 and PlayStation 3, and even Xbox 360, but the Wii only saw, I think, one of these. It was Untamed. That one was on multiple systems, but after that, I don't recall seeing any other MX versus ATV games on any Nintendo consoles until this one came around. And it's a really fun motorcycle racing game. You can also play as the ATV, you know, drive as a racer on an ATV. And the graphics look really good. And it's a really fun racing game. I love to see the dirt behind me just, you know, you can see it. When you see it, you know, it kind of moves to the side. Um, the jumping in it's good. You can kind of do tricks on it a bit when you're racing around the tracks. It's a really good game. I definitely recommend it if you are into racing games or you like these style of games. I'd like to play this game with two players and see how I like it. It's probably just as good as one player, but I'm sure it's more fun with having a friend to play this game with. And plus, you get to listen to some like rock tunes and rap tunes while you're playing the game as well, so that's a nice touch. Another game I want to mention, I don't own it for the Nintendo Switch, but is a really good game. I got this last year for Christmas from my brother. It's Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's a very fun action RPG game. It does have some sword combat in the game as well. From what I play, it was pretty fun. I did put it down at a certain point, but from what I played, I enjoyed what I played. There was also a little bit of platforming going on in the game too, like jumping from block to block in this one part with a moving block that was going back and forth. And it was a mountain at a certain point of the game in the beginning that I had to climb. Hold on a second, I gotta take a swig. Excuse me, sorry. Throat was getting a little dry. But yeah, from what I played, I really liked this game. I thought it was pretty good. You know, and it's not a mature game. It's rated T for teen because of like violence in the game, and I think mild language. Okay, language, suggestive themes, and violence, but nothing really severe. There's no cursing God in it, from what I know, and they don't say the F word in the game. I also like that you get the ability to fly later on in the game, and you get like a sword that upgrades. You get a bow and arrow in the game too. And you just fight these giant beasts and stuff. The game was also released on the Switch and the PlayStation 4 and possibly the Xbox One and Xbox Series X. It's a great action platformer RPG game, and I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of action RPG games. And of course, how could I leave out Zelda Breath of the Wild? I'd be a fool if I didn't mention The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It is a action RPG game where you play as Link in the game. You go throughout the levels, and you start with a really crappy weapon. You start with a stick, which sucks. Fighting those monsters with a stick is no good. But eventually, you start exploring the tombs and everything. You start getting these power ups that you get in the palm of your hands. It makes you more powerful. You start getting swords and potions and stuff to help you out along the way with fighting those moblins. And yes, they're called moblins in the game. And you're trying to rescue Zelda from the evil Gandalf, I think is his name. He's an evil wizard in the game. Honestly, when I was a kid, my mom didn't really like me playing Zelda because of there was a little bit of sorcery in Zelda. But Zelda is more lighthearted than some other games with witchcraft in it. It's very light on that. So I really don't see anything wrong with Zelda and stuff like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But anyways, so you're trying to get to Gandalf or Gandalin, Gamblin, whatever his name is. But it takes a while to get there, exploring the towns and stuff, certain people you talk to, buy new products from merchants in the game. Um, there's parts where you get to go to sleep. If you get to a loft or an inn, as they also call it, catch up on your rest. And then there's parts where you see like a river, right? And there's lots of water in it. Well, the thing that sucks is that Link cannot swim. So you had to find ways of getting around it. You had to find a way to like bring down the bridge so that he can get across the bridge and things like that. He can swim, but it's very very little. Like you kind of have to go real fast when you're swimming, It's only like maybe 60 seconds before he can die. So I really don't recommend swimming in that game for Link. Um, yeah, there's other things that you can do like climb ladders and stuff like that. From I have played the game, so I know. I don't currently own it. I traded it in when I didn't have a job, so I don't have that game currently, but I have played it. There's just so much you can do, so much exploring in the game, and the weapon system is awesome in the game. You can hold multiple weapons and potions and things to help you out in the game to defeat enemies. But it is going to take you a while to beat that game. I mean, it could take you probably like a month just to beat Zelda Breath of the Wild. But it is an amazing game, and it's definitely noteworthy if you have a Nintendo Switch. So those are some of the games that I recommend for the Nintendo Switch. What are some games that you would recommend for your Nintendo Switch if you were to pick up a Nintendo Switch? Comment down below and like, comment, and subscribe on my channel here. I appreciate it. I appreciate all my viewers watching and listening to me talk about video games. And yeah, good luck with collecting Nintendo Switch games. It's affordable if you can get the system and then get the games. You can probably find some games at GameStop for 30 or 20 bucks physically, which isn't bad for your wallet. Especially when most people in this economy are making at least $12 or $13 an hour. I make $18 an hour, but some people make 15 or 16. It's around that $12 to $18 range. $25 if you're a doctor or something. But anyways, thank you guys for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more gaming videos. Take care. God bless. Bye.